Jannik, Sinner, everybody. Sometimes the sinner becomes the winner, and that was the case at the US Open finals. Taylor Fritz bowing out in 3 sets against Jannik Sinner. And the themes that I found from this match were scoreboard pressure and superior movement and end of range shot making. And with the first one, it seemed that when it came down to the true crunch time moments, unfortunately for Taylor Fritz, Jannik was superior. He was more cool and calm under pressure. And with Taylor, he unfortunately cracked at the wrong times. We'll get into that a bit later. And also, end of range shot making and movement. You saw, if you watched the match, that Jannik Sinner was able to turn defense into offense much more rapidly and more frequently than Taylor, who, when Taylor was stretched out wide, then Taylor would often yield a shorter, weaker shot than Jannik would most of the time. And that was a key to Jannik's victory. But let's get into a recap of the action. First game, Taylor Fritz, nervous start, couple of errors. He lets a high lob bounce to hit the overhead, which is a smart play, especially, being nervy. But regardless, Taylor misses the overhead wide. He tries to slice the overhead and misses it at 30-40, and he gets broken. So right away, terrible start for Taylor Fritz. Then Jannik Sinner has a pretty easy hold to go up 2-0. Then Fritz starts picking up a lot of momentum. Fritz holds his serve easily as well. He gets 3 out of his first 4 first serves in and holds. He's able to take charge of the rallies. He doesn't lose a point. So that's back on track for Taylor. And then at 2-1, when Jannik Sinner's serving, Jannik goes down 15-40, but he's able to claw back the deuce. So you think, oh, Jannik's going to win this game. But Taylor Fritz breaks Sinner after the Italian misses a swinging forehand volley. Pretty easy swinging forehand volley, I might add. Sinner had the whole court open, and he just bricks it in maybe the top half of the net, maybe 3/4 of the way up. So it's a pretty bad miss. So this gets the match to 2-2, and then Taylor Fritz starts to pick up more steam. He holds. He fights hard, though. The game goes to deuce, and then he holds. And then after this, Sinner holds, and then Sinner proceeds to get his second break of the match. He breaks Fritz at 15. On break points, Sinner eventually drop shots Fritz. You'll see that throughout the match, actually, when Sinner takes command of the shots of the rallies. Then he changes it up because Taylor is far back behind the baseline and drop shots Fritz. And in this case, Fritz missed the short forehand and gets broken. So then Sinner holds, and then he breaks Fritz for the third time after Fritz hits a backhand long at 30-40 to wrap up the set. So at this point, you're thinking Fritz is in a lot of trouble. And is he going to serve even worse than the first set? Because the analysts mentioned that Fritz only served 38% of his first serves in. That's crazy. That's just a little over 1/3 of your first serves in, while Sinner had a 60% first serve percentage. And the thing with both of these fellas is that if you watched, you would notice that Sinner and Fritz both were really good at attacking second serves. They would be able to take command of the point after their return. And so when you're serving at 38% first serves, as Fritz did, and your opponent is serving at 60% first serves, then you are in trouble if your name is Taylor Fritz. And James Blake, who I said hi to while at the US Open on Thursday, he also mentioned the fact that Sinner's movement was superior. So something that, Fritz had to kind of rectify very quickly. So then we move on to set 2. So the first set, 6-3 Sinner. Second set, both players served amazing. Each of them only lost 5 points on their serve. But this is where the scoreboard pressure comes in. So you may win a ton of points and lose only a few points, but if you lose those few points in critical moments, then you may lose the match. You may even win more points than your opponent and still lose the match. And here, as I mentioned, Fritz only lost 5 points on his serve. Sinner only lost 5 points on his serve. But when Fritz was serving at 4-5, that's when he lost almost all of his service game points out of the 5. He was broken that game when Sinner hit a down the line backhand, producing an error from Fritz. And that was that. The American went down 2-0. And that last game, Blake, I believe, mentioned that Sinner played very solid. And actually, it was Patrick McEnroe that said he was hitting at only 75% pace. He didn't take any risks, Jannik Sinner, but he won the game. Because that's really all you have to do. You just stay solid. We all know that tennis is a game of errors. We know that around 70% of points ends in errors. And so if you're Jannik Sinner and you're being solid as a rock, you don't have to smash the ball in. You don't have to go for big shots. The commentators also said that Sinner would hit big forehands, in particular in the middle of the court, so that he could go for more and he wouldn't be risking much in terms of like hitting the shot wide or anything like that, or hitting the top of the tape. If you're going down the line, he's just going in the middle of the court hard, and that's really smart. Again, set 2, the Italian, I was going to say American, the Italian takes it 6-4. And now we go to the third set. Third set was very intriguing, a bit more back and forth here. So Sinner went down love 40 in the very first game when he was serving in the third set. And you're thinking, okay, you know what? This is the time for Taylor Fritz to get the momentum. But Sinner, first off, the problem, he went down left 40 because he was hitting a lot of second serves, but he still, with that mentality, the strong mentality, he clawed back and he held his serve with 3 big serves in a row. Some of them, him finishing off with the +1, big forehand after the serve. Others were aces or unreturnable serves. And so Sinner holds. So we fast forward a bit to 2-3. 15-40 down. This is key game here. Fritz is serving. Fritz shows a lot of fight to hold his serve. I can remember when Fritz actually hit a second serve at 15-40 on the deuce side, obviously, and then Sinner, he kind of stays far back, which the commentators criticize him for staying far back on the second serves, but who are they or I to criticize, because Sinner won the match in straights. But Sinner stayed back and he let the ball come to him, and he missed a very easy forehand return at 15-40. And then eventually Fritz, gets to add in, and then he cracks a cross-court forehand from the middle of the court to the deuce side of Sinner that Sinner couldn't get. And so Fritz wins his service game. So that's huge. 3-all. At 3-all, now it's Sinner's time to go down 15-40, and then some nerves hit him. Finally, he succumbs to the scoreboard pressure just a little bit, and he double faults at 15-40 to get broken for just the second time all match. And after this, both players hold their serve pretty routinely. And then you're thinking, all right, Taylor, it's time for the American crowd to get pumped, for you to hold it 5-4, to close out the set, to win a set, to bring it to 2-1. But it doesn't happen. Fritz feels the scoreboard pressure, and he gets broken when he gets to a drop shot, but he then overswings for the follow-up volley, and he misses it. So at that point, he hangs his head, gets a little frustrated, nicks the ground with his racket, and we're at 5-all. And then Sinner holds. And guess what? Are we going to go to tiebreak? Are we not? No. Again, scoreboard pressure, serving at 5-6. Fritz starts off nervously with a double fault, and then we're all thinking, oh no, this could be the end. And it was the end almost. So Sinner gets to double match point, 15-40 on Fritz's serve. And after a long rally, Fritz, and we talk about the movement, about the end of range shot making, Fritz makes a running forehand error, and Sinner wins the match. Just amazing stuff from Sinner. Just a little bit of a stats recap for you. Sinner converted 50% of his break point chances. Thank you, US Open website. Surpassing Fritz, who only converted 29% of his break points. And Sinner had a very impressive 88% first serve win percentage, which was much higher than Fritz's 68% first serve win percentage. Some really cool quotes from Jannik Sinner after the end of the match. As I mentioned, he said that the mental part of his game has been strong, and he's really proud of that. He also said that it's nice to have pressure, because if you don't have it, that means something is missing. I really love that quote because that means that you should change your approach to these clutch moments. I've had this type of outlook lately where I've been in third set tie breaks and thought to myself, you know what, enjoy these moments. Pressure is a privilege. It's an exciting time. And this is the mentality that Sinner had and continues to have, that, pressure, if you have it, that's a good sign. It means that there are great things that potentially await you on the other side. Sinner also said at least four times within, the couple of interviews that I listened to, that the work never stops. And that's a great outlook. You don't just stop after you win a big title or achieve something big, because then you're going to regress. So the work never stops. And he says that he needs to continuously work and he's looking forward to it. That is the true mentality of a champion. We've had some Grand Slam champions who they won one and then they've, faded out or not won again. And, I think that there, after you win, maybe you have a lot of relief. You think, I've reached the pinnacle, and you forget to work hard, and that there are a lot of others behind you who are going to outwork you if you don't try to outwork them. And Sinner also said that he is really taking rest very seriously. That's very important. Recovery, of course, and that he's taking gaps off playing tournaments to train, and that he's really amped up his training in the gym as well. And that's very important to him. And so, again, just hats off to Jannik Sinner. He really played like a champion. And, hats off to Taylor Fritz, too, reaching, his first Grand Slam final, the first Grand Slam final for an American man since, I think, 2009 it was in Wimbledon, for Andy Roddick. And Andy Roddick was the last man to win a Grand Slam. That was the US Open in 2003. So what do we say? We just say, very well done, incredible, andiamo. When he was playing, I don't know what half these words mean, but I just think that the Italian language is really cool. I just randomly had carbonara pasta the night before the match, and I was thinking to myself, this feels like a Sinner win, as I had my spaghetti. And, I was right. So I should have put some money on that. But anyways, I hope that you enjoyed this recap. Let me know what you think. If you liked it, then I will be happy to do more of them. If you're watching on YouTube, I also hope you like, the different background that I have here with the different colors and whatnot. I just thought I'd spruce it up a bit. But I will also say I had a really fun time up at the US Open. Watched a bunch of doubles matches. Watched one of the men's doubles semis. I think it was Winthrop Lamons lost to the eventual champions, Max Purcell and Jordan Thompson. So really great match there. Got to be first row there at Louis Armstrong because it was an open free day on Thursday, which was incredible. And Wednesday watched some great matches. Watched Draper and Daminar, and then Mukova, who's so smooth against Haddad Maya. So really enjoy that experience. Highly recommend that you go to the US Open. If you've never gone before, it's definitely just an amazing atmosphere. You might want to go easy on the honey deuces because they're 23 a pop now, but that is another conversation for another day. So big congrats to Jannik Sinner and all the champions there, Sabalenka and the Dubs and everyone. Really also enjoyed watching Donald Young's last match. Big up to him. He played with Taylor Townsend, and they lost to Vavasuri and Irani in the mixed doubles final. Also got to watch that in Ash. That was great. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So again, the big takeaways here are scoreboard pressure, playing as solid as possible, and just being strong mentally in those big moments, thinking about execution and what you're trying to do, how you're trying to construct the point, taking your time in your in between points to compose yourself and think about the tactics that you want to employ. And then the movement, big thing. A lot of us think about the technique and we do these shadow swings, which is amazing and great to do, but if we don't get to the ball in the first place, then we won't be able to hit that shot, right? So the movement and producing decent shots when you're stretched to your end of range movement, let's say running forehands, running backhands, etc., is going to help you a lot versus yielding short balls at end of range. So always like to point out things that you can learn when we're analyzing these matches. Let me know if you like this match analysis of the US Open final between Jannik Sinner and Taylor Fritz, and I'll see you next time. Until then, keep improving your tennis game.